of fire activity, a lot of acres burning all at once. Quickly, obviously, overwhelms the system, not just CAL FIRE, but the 1,000 local government fire departments across California and the federal partners. With I think today's count between 500 and 600 fires burning across the landscape, 11,000 lightning strikes, all happening in a very short period of time. Over 1 million acres burning quickly outpaces the availability of resources. I mean, you staff for the average, fire day, the critical fire weather in the state, and that's where the resources are staffed to those levels. And when we know there's fire weather coming, like occurred here during this lightning siege, resources are staffed up, they're moved into position, tapping the mutual aid system, not just CAL FIRE, but again, these local government fire departments. But understand, this is beyond the day-to-day fire activity. These are fire siege kind of conditions. So at the state level, there's a day-to-day, almost throughout the day, a triage going on to prioritize incidents and determine, what incidents are the greatest threat to life and property, what incidents can they pick up quickly, maybe make them a higher priority and get them off the books. But it's a constant determination of where to move critical resources. And it's not just fighting the fires that are going now, it's the initial attack of new fires. Idea being keep fires small so they don't have to engage many more resources on another large fire. Well, yeah, and it seems like a lot. And for California, that's a lot of firefighters. California has many, many fire departments and has really the most robust system of mutual aid and firefighting resources. But understand, 31 million acres of state responsibility area, wildlands around the state, 40 million people to protect, a very diverse geographically, and where populations are, and where these fires have started are really impacting many, many urban communities. And so that's very quickly going to utilize all the resources that are available in the state. And this is something we've been talking about, for the last several years. And it's not just the response to these large sieges, it's the day-to-day response to the threat. The threat's been changing, as we've seen in the last 5 to 6 years. Fire conditions are worsening every year. We're seeing the fires resist control, they become more challenging. So what it's putting more pressure on firefighters. They're being held on duty more. They're responding to more calls. All of that puts more pressure on them personally, puts more pressure on the system. So it continues to add stress. And first and foremost, no different than troops on the ground in combat, our firefighters are our frontline resource. And so taking care of them is critical. So having the capacity and the number of resources on a daily basis to ensure that they have what they need to respond to fires as well as get the rest they need, so they're not doing this 9 months out of the year. At its historic high, it was about 4,000 inmates in the system, almost 200 camps spread across the state, and certainly with a number of changes and now the impacts of COVID-19, those numbers are being reduced, and it certainly had an impact on the availability of hand crews, which are critical across the state. I can tell you, for example, today here in the Amador and El Dorado unit of CAL FIRE, there's 1 hand crew available, and normally there would be 9 or 10. One, they're all out responding and at fires, but also it's a critical resource. And so the state is having to look and find other opportunities, partnering with the California Conservation Corps, activating the California National Guard for its hand crews that are brought together and brought to bear during time of need. And then looking at other opportunities. Right now, CAL FIRE is utilizing seasonal firefighters to supplement as hand crews across the state. So it's going to continue to look at need across the state and what other options are available to help fill these gaps. It's hard to imagine what it could be like with the wind, but it's absolutely a possibility. And you raise a very good point, Brandon. These fires are burning under extreme conditions, but very much driven by the condition of the vegetation, the number of fire starts, and just how dry the vegetation is, and just very normal summertime kind of wind and weather patterns. You put a north wind, a Diablo wind, or in Southern California, a Santa Ana wind on top of these kind of conditions, and it completely changes this. And our acreage and our loss could be be exponential. These are the fires we have been talking about for the last 5 or 6 years. This is the direction we're going in California. And Australia and California have really been mirroring each other at different times of the year, but very much the same kinds of fires and same kind of conditions, seeing the same impacts from weather. And this is where we're going. And so these are the kinds of fires we need to continue to anticipate. And we actually need to be anticipating what the fires are going to look like in several years, 10 times as bad as they look now, potentially. I mean, the conditions continue to worsen. I never want to be the one that's doomsday, but it's reality. And I think we're seeing it. It's not just the fact that the models are predicting it, it's actually happening. I mean, if we go back to 2014 and 2015 and see where we were seeing fires in Lake County and in Calaveras County, and then, moving up into Napa, and in 2017 and 18, I mean, every year our fires are becoming more extreme. And so it's a reality. And so it needs to be the wake-up call that we need to continue, one, to prepare, continue to engage, and every member of the public needs to fully understand this is no different than a tornado or a hurricane. We need to expect that these are going to happen and be planning and preparing for them. Trying to take look at the opportunities where they can make advisory and then ultimate evacuation orders. Sometimes, and in the words they're using this year, out of abundance of caution. So it's really trying to get out in front, educate the public about why the evacuation is occurring, and then making the evacuations and doing that well out in front. So that's occurring before the fire actually reaches the area. Now, again, these fires are burning in a way where they give them some more time to be able to do that. Given a high wind situation, obviously it's going to continue to put more pressure on getting those evacuations done early. People need to have a healthy respect right now for the conditions around the state. Even if there isn't a fire in your community, you need to be prepared and expect it's going to happen in the next hour, in the next day. We are in critical fire weather conditions. We still got dry lightning working its way through the state. So you need to be prepared to go now. And absolutely, if you're in your home and you have not listened to the evacuation orders, firefighters and law enforcement officers are putting themselves at risk to try to come rescue you when the fire does burn through your property. And you can help everyone by seriously taking this taking it seriously and getting out. Wait, you don't even have to wait for the evacuation order. Pay attention to conditions around you throughout the day, every day. Leave early. Get yourself out well ahead of the rush and be safe.